We're up. I think I'm 5 seconds late this morning. Let's see. Here we are. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. It's going to be a bit of a mixed bag today. We've got some leftover work from yesterday. We've got some new stuff to start. We've got some stuff that you probably haven't seen before. Those of you who've been watching this stream for a while. 5 seconds. I'm slipping. I've been slipping for years. If I can get within 5 seconds, we're home free. Okay, you can see what this is. This is the block I was carving in yesterday's stream. Oh, where's the... nice to have... I've got everything all lined up. Not. Where am I here? Now, for those who don't know what it is, these are the books, the Ukiyo-e Hero books that we're in the middle of producing. Almost finished now. There's going to be a title label for them, which will be going on, something like this in this position. And yesterday I carved the block that will print it. So this morning we're printing it, or I'm supposed to be printing it. I've got the paper here, and the paper's dry. I forgot last night to make the paper moist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this paper moist now, then put the pack aside, go back to some other work, and then before the stream is over today, we'll come back and finish off by printing these labels. So what I've done is I've stolen... I went over to the print party room and I stole the package of moist paper that's ready for the print parties this morning. I'm just going to piggyback on here. Just going to take some of my own paper here, moisten it and slip it inside here. And this paper is free for me. These are offcuts, obviously. They're offcuts from different prints we've made. We keep all the offcuts from everything. We don't throw away a single scrap of kozo fiber. Offcuts like this end up being printed. If we don't use them for anything, the girls always use them for testing. When we're getting a new block ready, we're putting pigment on, we need to test it and print a little bit to see what color is coming. You've seen me do that before when I'm doing printing tests. And having some real washi-by for doing those test printings helps get the color match proper. So I've also got a water bucket here. And no big deal, just a light moistening on these things. Two by two usually. And we'll just tuck them inside. And they can just cook for half an hour or so while we're doing other work here. And we'll come back and print them before the stream's over. There's two other jobs to be done this morning. Another of those jobs is this. You perhaps haven't seen this before. The Mokuhankan company, we're working with them in two ways. We're using their blocks. It looks like paper for chibi prints, doesn't it? No, it's paper for the... As I said, if you just came in late, the paper I just moistened is paper for the name labels for the Ukiyo-e Heroes prints. We'll be printing that soon this morning. But this morning's main work that I've got to do, because this stuff's got to be sent to Ome for packing. The Mokuhankan company, we're working with them, as I said, in two ways. We're using their blocks, and we're making prints here from their blocks and paying them a block royalty for that. But also, they still have left over in their files older prints from when they were actively sending stuff out to different printers. Now, they're still doing a little bit of that. At the moment, they've got some of the blocks are going out to Itakura-san for printing the Kagurazaka print. But they do have stuff in their drawers. And there's a bit of a conundrum here. Some of these prints, these are prints that were made back in the... Who's this? This is Seki-san. He died in the middle 1990s. So these are prints that were made in the middle 80s or 90s. And she doesn't say this to us, but it's pretty clear to us that what these are left over in their drawers is these are the bottom of the barrel. They had editions made, not editions, numbered editions, but they had batches made sold them, and then some of the prints were there was a bit of a problem with them, so they put them at the bottom of the barrel. And now she's digging into that barrel and bringing them to me and saying, what do you think, Dave? Can we sell these? And honestly speaking, these were prints that were rejected back in 1986. And now she brings it to me and says, what can we do with this? And some of them, not this batch, but some that she already brought last week that I've rejected already, they were rejected clearly because there was maybe a gross misregistration, or it was clearly a paper test, the first one in the batch, and there was no good color. And I'm not interested in anything like that. Nobody would be. But among that batch, there's stuff that was rejected for other reasons that can be corrected. And what we're going to do is this. We're going to look through this batch today. Let me see if I can find an example to show you here. Here. Some of them are particularly difficult. Here's one. This is the Spring Rain at Matsushima design. And this would have been rejected, and there's a few reasons. Here we go. There's a bunch of, can you see it? There's a whole bunch of ink at the bottom. Look at this, look at the corner. Sometimes we get a little bit of a mark in the corner, but this is way, way, way too much. There's big blobs of pigment in the corner. And where else is there's another problem with it? Oh yeah, here we are. Up on this green here. Part of the green, can you see it? It's actually misregistered. The green is popping out from that line just a little bit. So I've got to look at this thing and think, can we put this in the shop? And what we're going to do here today, I've got my microscope here. I'm going to go through this batch of prints here and shave and clean as much of this dirt around the edge as I possibly can. And sometimes that's not possible, and sometimes it is. So let's have a go. Let's see what we can do here. Well, we got questions. Look at all these people here. God, how moist do you want your paper to be? What's the level of sogginess? If it's soggy, you're too wet. We don't want the paper soggy at all. In fact, we don't want the paper even wet. The paper has to be, the operative word is soft. If you can feel that the paper is wet, then it's too wet. We need the paper just simply soft. Okay, let me get the scope here, because I've got to do this under the scope. And find the sweet spot. Where are we? Where are we here? For example, on the edge of the paper here. Let me get things ready. We need light. And let's find a spot and zoom in. Just take a minute to find this here. Hang on a sec. Just a minute while I find the spot here. Okay, are we there? Is it focused? I try and keep track of where I am. It's really difficult to keep the camera focused on the same spot here. Printed in the middle 60s. I'm not sure exactly when. This is Seki. I say middle 60s. 60s, I'm sorry, middle 80s into the early 90s. This one's Itakura-san. He's still alive now, so this could have been printed a bit later than that. Going by the paper, I don't know, there's no date. I can't tell a date on this, I'm sorry. The Seki-san one's clearly because he's dead. We know when they were done. But Itakura-san, we don't know. Anyway, let me be quiet for a minute. Try and get some surgery done here. Now what we do is, because the washi has a certain amount of thickness, we have leeway. We have leeway to scrape away at it. Let's try some here. Dr. Bull at work. Anybody need any brain surgery done? I'm real cheap. No guarantees. Well, just the ink and the tiniest top layer of the paper is gone. The washi has good body, you know. There's the sound, you can't hear, there's the sound of the shutter in the downstairs shop opening. Yesterday it was pretty noisy in here. There was a group of workmen working down there. The owner of the jewelry shop wasn't there, but a group of workmen were there ripping out cabinets and stuff. And an interesting thing is happening that we hadn't foreseen. Our second floor here right now is really, really cold, way colder than it's ever been. And what we haven't realized, of course, is that we've been a bit freeloading. The shop downstairs, of course, has been in operation. It's been heated. And of course, that heat has been percolating up through the building without us really specifically thinking about it. So we've been piggybacking on their heaters. And now that they've shut down, they've been out of business now for a few days, their heaters are off. And it's bitterly, bitterly cold up here. How far do we go, you know? That last black patch came off really nicely. Good, good, good. There's some blue here. He was just so careless. This guy, I can badmouth him with no hesitation. Itakura-san. He was a very competent printer in his prime. Good guy, nice guy. But my God, he's careless, you know. Just couldn't care less about stuff like this, you know. It's too bad. Things like that, that's the publisher's, responsibility to make sure the printer, you know, keeps in line. Let me check that party reservation to see if it's for this morning. Just a sec. It is indeed. It's a 10 o'clock party at 2. We had nothing, but now we have a 10 o'clock party. So I will have to make sure I get out of here on time at 9:30. That was a print party reservation for 10 o'clock, 2 hours from now. Talk about last minute, what to do in Tokyo. People do, you know, they Google every day what to do in Tokyo and stuff, and up it comes. Or they've kept this in their tentative to-do list, and then when nothing else came up, it came for a party. Reserving at the last minute is only really possible in like January, February. Try that in April, you're going to be out of luck. But, some of the other publishers, we chat with our printers, Kupuda-san, who works for another publisher as well, and I asked him what they do about this kind of stuff, and he says, well, they just paint it white. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, they've got the white, like the white stuff you use when you're fixing your typing mistakes, He says, yeah, they just paint it white. And I'm like, what? That stuff's gonna decay and fade. And he says, whatever, they don't care. So our rule is we never put anything else. We never apply anything else to the paper. This is the limit of what we do. We don't paint over stuff. It's just not fair. But we will scrape off, if we possibly can, we'll scrape off like this. This is the limit of the fixing that we do to prints that are finished. We also pull out bark scraps. You've seen me do that many times under this knife, Sometimes there's bark scraps in the paper. Oh, here's a bad one here. And we'll pull out bark scraps. I'll do surgery on those. Sometimes they're too big. Okay, now it was easy. This is the tough one now, this corner. This is the tough one. And I won't be able to get all of this off. Not at all. I'll be able to get the darkest, thickest parts of it off. But there's no way I can get all of it off. Sometimes when the paper is really rich and thick, you can do that. I can get right down, take basically the top layer off. But this particular print here today is a bit thin, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Let's start slowly here. So there's a limit to how far down I can go. Just get the darkest parts off. I don't know if you can hear the noise in the background. It's the guys with the truck. They're taking stuff out from downstairs. Have we ever had somebody come in mentioning Twitch or YouTube yet? Yes, I know yesterday there would have been 3, maybe 4, I'm not sure. They come upstairs, they mention they've been watching YouTube and or Twitch, sometimes ask for pictures. They're sometimes too shy to ask for pictures, in which case I bring it up, should we take a picture together? And it's, yeah, sure. Sometimes people buy prints, it's not always, whatever. They sit and chat for a while. Sometimes they do a print party. We get lots and lots and lots of visitors here from YouTube and Twitch, very much so. YouTube mostly, I have to say. No insult to Twitch, it's fairly new for me here. And on the website, lots and lots of orders come from people who say they've seen us on these 2 channels. So yes, YouTube and Twitch are very, 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 very strong and important for us. So. Have we ever tried using sandpaper or bleach? Nay. Oh no, bleach, no, there's no way. We don't want that stuff left in the paper. And sandpaper could be possible for some very small ones, but that, of course, that's going to really rough and tear up the paper. What I'm trying to do is leave a sort of a natural... The paper is a bit fuzzy in itself, and I'm trying to leave the same fuzziness. This paper is so thin, this particular example today. Let's see if we can get this blotch off. I'm down here, I'm trying to think where I was. This won't be a clean corner, but at least the most grotesque, darkest stuff that would bother people will be gone, Just if that printer just been a bit more careful, they just don't care, those guys. They don't give a shit. Coming on, we're getting all right, getting some of this stuff off. I guess we're shaving more than cutting here now, so. There we go. Getting better. This last black one, I'm not sure how much I can get off. He's actually hit the paper with the barren here. So the paper's become really, really flat at this point. So there's very little leeway. It's possible actually to do really major surgery. You can cut paper off and replace it, glue in different bits of paper and stuff like that. It's just, it takes so much time to feather out the piece, feather in a new piece, get it matched for color and stuff. It's just not practically possible on woodbuck prints that are only, depends how much the print is worth, But it's possible. Like this whole corner could have been removed and replaced with a different piece of paper, but it would be a day's work or something, It's just not worth it. Well, that's way, way better than we were before. Way better. You're still seeing black marks here under the close-up camera, but compared to what it was, once this is in the shop, it just looks now like general printer's dirt rather than a mess. Okay, what else is on here? Is that one okay? Let me get another one. Excuse me a sec here. I'm not going to sit here all morning and do this, just I've got to get a couple of those worst ones done. Who's this? This is Itakura-san also. On these Shinhanga prints with the borders, many of the people, most perhaps of the people who will be collecting these prints, will be framing them. So a lot of this stuff, this mess around the borders, will be actually covered by the frames, But there are a lot of other people who they collect them just for to collect the Shinhanga, and they're going to be open without frames in portfolios. We ourselves, just too much mess. It's sort of like the printer says, I'll take care up to here, but I won't take care here. What's the difference along that border, I don't buy that. I don't get that. Nice prints, though. Nice prints. I've seen these, I don't know if you see what these are. These are the blocks and stuff for most of the prints I'm playing with here. These would have been carved in the 50s. What's this one? This is Showa 9. What's Showa 9? I was born in 26. That's 1951. So this is 15 or so years before that. So this is just late 30s, the show, 1930s. Well, there was a huge tourist business in Japan. The foreigners were just eating up these Shinhanga prints. I can't follow the conversation, I'm sorry. What? Well, that construction noise from downstairs, or deconstruction noise actually, music to my ears. We've been waiting for a very, very long time. I don't know what people listening today know about it, but 3 years ago when we came here to Asakusa, it was the downstairs area we were supposed to be getting. That was the original plan, to move into this building on the first floor. But the tenant who was down there, although he was supposedly leaving at that time for non-payment and etc., didn't actually move out. And landlord-tenant relationships are quite difficult in Japan. Tenants have very, very strong power. And there are no bailiffs here in Japan like there are in some Western countries, where once there's a judgment against a tenant, they can be physically removed, and that doesn't exist in Japan. So if a tenant doesn't move, even when he's supposed to, there's nothing you can do. So 3 years ago we had no choice. It was either cut and run and go away, or use the second floor. And we moved to plan B, which was to use the second floor and bide our time, build our business slowly, bit by bit. We did exactly that. And it's now 3.5 years later. And lo and behold, he's on his way out. So we're now ready to go back to our original plan. Building a shop downstairs. And what's today? Today's the 26th or something. This paper's really thin. I gotta really be careful. I'm gonna end up with a hole. And if I get a hole, that's another couple of hours extensive repair job trying to patch it. So I've got to be really careful here. Yeah, it was a jeweler downstairs. It was a guy who was in the wrong place. This is not a jewelry district. Very, very few customers. I understand. I haven't spoken to him directly about it, but I understand that as he's moved out now, he's going to work from home without a shop. But I don't know, not my business. And this whole change, moving downstairs, it's a real, what's the word? It's a plus minus. Our rent is going to stunningly increase. Our staffing requirements are going to increase. And we're not really sure if it's a benefit. The experience we've had of the past 3 years up here on the second floor of this building, we've been invisible, nothing but a very tiny, small doorway. And it doesn't matter. We've built a steady business here because people come searching for us. They've seen us online and come searching for us. So the whole idea of going for a more expensive rent in a more visible storefront may not be the right approach for us to take. It could just be increased expense for no benefit, because fans come and find us anyway. And the reason we are going to go for it, even with that consideration, is that current people who are our fans, Heroes fans, or people who've been watching the YouTube channel, stuff like that, It's very much dependent on me, what I'm doing, what Dave is doing. And, as I get older, I'm less able to do a lot of that stuff. Other people who are working there are really worried about this. What's the future of this business, post Dave? Nobody's, actually worrying about that right now, today, here. But it's a consideration. We're building careers for these people. So we have to try and build a kind of business that is not too dependent on one kind of thing, either on the Ukiyo-e Heroes or on our YouTube videos or on Dave making Dave's choice videos, whatever. We need to make sure we create a business model that's a bit more wide-ranging, that's based on different ways of doing business. And that's why we're going to, bite this bullet and take these expenses and go downstairs. Because it's a whole new kind of business that we don't have. Street level Japanese people seeing a shop, walking in and seeing what's in there. And this whole thing goes hand in hand with the new Japanese website that's just opened and that Cameron and Aoyama-san are working on. They're now actively working here in Japanese social media. Okay, much improved, I think. It's not perfect. It's scratchy and it's got marks here and there, but it doesn't have grotesque black blobs here and there all over it. Good. Much improved. Let's do another one. Okay, I'm not going to do too much more of this. Maybe do one more and then switch to the other jobs. As I said, there's 3 jobs waiting for me today. So let me just do one more of these prints. Whoa, look at this. Let me do one more of these and then we'll get back to our printing. Where are we? We're trying to answer these questions here. We're not going to move everything. We're going downstairs. We're going to keep the whole building. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We have real plans. Real plans. The first floor downstairs now will be a shop. The shop that's upstairs now. We have a very small, constricted, tight shop right now on the second floor. You get 3, 4 people in there and that's it. There's no room for anybody else. We've had people actually now come up the stairs, look in the window, find no room and walk back down the stairs and go away. So the physical shop area is expanding. What's now, 10 square meters or so will be 30 square meters downstairs. So the shop itself will be much more comfortable. The print party room, which is now currently on the second floor, will go downstairs. It'll be at the back end of the first floor downstairs. There will be, of course, a regular, a front counter and stuff. People can make reservations and the shopping and the cash register, all that stuff. That will be downstairs. The third floor is staying as it is. That's the actual workshop, the place where we make the wood blocks, the place where we size the paper, and the printers. 4 printers are working upstairs. That will be staying as it is, unchanged, on the third floor. And what's going to happen on the second floor is short-term, long-term. Short-term, we're not going to use much of the second floor ourselves. We're going to use the room I'm sitting in right now will be sort of an office area. The new office that Cameron-san needs, to get organized this business side. And what we want to do in the near long term on the second floor, the area that's currently a shop, we want a print, I'm not sure what word to use for this. We want a display space, and it could be considered as a sort of a small private museum / gallery / study room. The print collection that I built up over the years needs a home, and it needs to be shown and displayed and talked about. And that's what we're thinking of. Look at this, is all going to come off. Look at this. Whoa, up you come, baby. It's like taking a tumor out. Right, there you go. That's what we would like to use the second floor for. Well, we have a small catch, and we'll be talking about this more once it actually happens next month. The owner of the building, the lady who owns this building, has family members who have a business in another part of Asakusa who have just had to leave their place. And they need, for a couple of years, some retail space in Asakusa. And this is her building, you know. So we're going to have a temporary tenant of our own, it looks like, in the second floor here for the next year, 2 years, maybe 3 years. We don't know yet. So there'll be another small shop in this building using, look at that, it came off really well, using the space that we've been using for our shop for the past couple of years. If you didn't know, you'd think that was part of the calligraphy. It's not. Okay, almost done here. Just a minute. Let me just finish this corner and then we'll get on to that printing work. This one's easy. The famous last words. Okay. Enough of this. Good. Okay, let's zoom out here. Oops. They're nice prints, you know. Hopefully they're nice prints. If they'd taken a bit more care in making it would have been better. And the blocks, you know, the blocks are sitting there waiting to be used. We ourselves don't have the printing competence in our building yet to be able to make these, but all the blocks are sitting there. Aimi-san may come back for more training. Suga-san, the young printer upstairs sitting next to Aimi-san, she's coming along very well. She's doing the first boss fights. She's totally not capable of this, but she is yet young. One day, if we can just keep it up, if we can just keep building our staff, we'll be able to get all of these things back into production. One day. Okay. Come on, go in there. Okay, put that away for a while. Now, let's print those labels. I don't know if I've got enough room for this. How are we doing for time? You okay? Yeah, good. Halfway. Are we on camera? What can we do here? Let me see. Get my. We'll need my button. I need a brush. I've got some pigment here. carefully if I don't knock this all over the whole table. Here's the paper pack board from the party room. That paper I moistened a few minutes ago should be just about ready by now. Yeah, I think it's okay. Let's see. Let's put it where you can see it. If I put it in there? I'll need my close-up glasses. Oops. Okay, about this. The flask, you're asking again, it's a water flask. It's for distributing light. It's really for a carver. It's nothing to do with printing. Carvers use these flasks. Printers don't. But it's my carving bench we're working on here. I can't take everything down and up for every single job I do. Okay, here we go. We've got the block we carved yesterday. It reads, Floating World Picture Hiro Ukiyo-e, of course. This is the term ukiyo-e, floating world pictures, hiro, and it's singular plural in Japanese, ukiyo-e hiros. I did a quick rub test of it yesterday, just splashed some pigment on to see if it works, and it looks like the block might be okay. So here we go. These are the labels. Oh, here we go. Noise from downstairs. Whatever, can't be helped, guys. I carved registration marks on it, but actually I'm not even going to use them. I don't care. The paper I've got, if we were cutting paper specially for this, we would cut it the exact size, put it in the registration marks and print it. But the offcuts that I found when I was digging upstairs yesterday, they're bigger than this. So I'll just slap the paper on top and trim it later. It's readable. Ukiyo-e hiros. Could be a bit darker, I think. Let me get some more pigment here. This is a bit too weak. I stole it from the party room, and they've obviously got it weaker. So give me a moment here to get some more black pigment. Hang on a sec. If I don't knock everything over on my way out here. Calligraphy ink, just raw calligraphy ink. We'll just mix some new stuff in here. Hold it up. Yeah, it's better. What's this? Coming up. Yeah, much better. Ukiyo Heroes. This will go on one of the handmade books that we're making this week to go to the Kickstarter backers. I see there's a tiny little something here. There's a little blob of something coming up here. Where is it? Here. How's the chat doing? I'm sorry guys not to be able to follow along. I can't. Alcohol. This is just, this is calligraphy. They call it in Japanese bokuju. Black soup, sort of literally actually. Calligraphy ink. To mention about the alcohol there, some of our pigments don't dissolve in water, so they get a touch of alcohol to help them dissolve. Nothing here at this moment for that. But this is just calligraphy ink. Look at that. The bamboo skin has a split in it. There we go. At least it wasn't a very expensive print. It's a winter, you know, these things. What should I do? Should I get it? I should go get a replacement. Hang on a sec, let me get another one upstairs. I'll leave it here, you can see what happened. See the split in the bamboo? It's dry and split in two places. That caught on the edge of the paper. Check out. Let me get another one to finish off this job. Hang on a sec. Yoish. Not about to sit and try and tie the skin here on the stream. Yoish. Oops. Actually, this might be a chance to show you people what's inside this thing. Those of you who haven't seen them before. Let's have a look. Are we on camera here? String off. Here, pop open the bamboo skin. Are we visible? There's the skin, the bamboo skin, but you can see it's split. It was worn, heavily worn. It was at the end of life. So. On a big job, when we're printing heavily, these will be changed daily or even more than once a day. This particular tool, the Baron I'm using today, it's one that we use for light work, for outlines, rather than for strong colors. So those skins usually last much longer because there's not such heavy pressure on them. But this one's worn. It's pretty much worn out and it's split. And what's inside, maybe some of you have seen it before, it's two parts that are inside. One part is the coil. How close I can go before this thing goes out of focus. Might be holding its focus. It's a coil made of wound, and it's also made from the same bamboo skin. If you imagine this being in thin strips, like 1 millimeter wide, woven together, braided together, to make a string, and then that string turned into a spiral. That's what's inside. And this one really is worn out. This is the first one I got back in 1989. And my God, it's worn out. It's been rewound and retied. And it's pretty much, yeah, it needs to go back to the Baron maker for refurbishing. That's the main active part of a Baron. Eh? Then the other part, we've got some shims in here to bring it up to thickness, but this is the other part, the Ategawa plate, the backing plate of this here, 1989, November of 1989. And it looks like just sort of a piece of plastic. It's not. It's made of washi paper, around 50 sheets or so, laid up, getting thicker and thicker bit by bit. And modern, cheaper Barons can be made of, piece of wood, piece of plastic, whatever, but a real home Baron, it's got a noise in it. I think it's delaminated in one place, And I think this one might be near end of life. It's delaminated, I think. Anyway, there she is. That's what a Baron is made of. This particular one would have cost me maybe $500 or $600 back in 1989. To order this today at this same level of fineness, this would be around $1,200, somewhere around there. And they're very expensive tools, but they're lifetime tools, really. You know, they just get softer and softer and softer and softer. I say lifetime tools, I mean a workman's life. I got this in 1989. That's what? 29 years ago. So it's done me, you know, 3 decades of work. Anyway, don't get sidetracked, Dave. Keep going. Put this aside. Here we go. Let's pick up. Now the block's dry. We do have a Baron maker. Aimi-san, the young lady who's pregnant, is a Baron maker. And while she's off with her baby, you know, she's still doing small printing for us upstairs. But while she's off doing her baby, this is very much a consideration that she's sitting there, you know, doing baby what's its. She can work on Barons, very much so. At the moment, she's not thinking about it. She's just concentrating on the baby. But yeah, once things get settled down, that's very much a consideration. We got 3 or 4 more of these, and we'll move on to the third job happening today here. What do we got? One left? Let's see. We know who that is. What time is it already? 9:10. Jeez, I don't know if I got time for the third job.
Morning.
Morning, sir. Hello, hello.
How are you?
Okay, so far. Quiet stream from my end, but I think from their end, I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff
Exciting
going on.
over there.
I don't know. It just goes streaming by. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, to reiterate again, these are going to be labels. I'm gonna trim off the outside, and they're going to go. People are asking on the street here. They're going to go on the book cover. The books will be like this. This is the sample I made the other day. And if you imagine this after being trimmed, it goes in place on the front of the book. And again, it's ukiyo-e heroes. And this is the last stage in production of these books. So that's it. The next couple of days, I've got to actually get them done. What's asking? Where do I buy your pigments? Run down to Sekaido. Pigments are problem. We can no longer buy the real nice pigments that we have been using for many years and that we want to keep using. They just don't exist anymore. It's gone. The business is finished, out, kaput. There are quote unquote pigments left. And yeah, you're saying Sekaido, you know the scene here in Japan then. There are things in Sekaido that will work for people trying printmaking. Let me just get too many things going on. Just a second. I don't know, Cameron said, watch the cable there. Nay, I wired in today.
Oh, great.
I'm not on Wi-Fi this morning. I wired it in.
Oh, nice.
But watch the cable on the floor there. Yeah, you can grab it, whatever. I haven't seen anything that's going on, so get this stuff out of the way. We got 3 cables here. There's the Wi-Fi also. The black one is the one to watch, so that doesn't bend. Height.
Good morning.
And what's been happening? I've done 2 jobs so far this morning. First job, for the first half an hour or so, I was repairing, and we're taking some of these old Doi hunger prints.
Right.
And I was cleaning off some of the worst of the black smudges around the outside. And I can't get it all totally clean, but cleaning off. That's what I was doing for the first half an hour.
Wow.
Then the idea for the second half an hour was to print these labels for the Ukiyo-e Heroes book, which are now done. Then the idea for the third half hour was, might need a bit of explanation of this. And this needs a bit of explanation. You've seen this picture before. It's one of the yokai prints. What I needed a sample hunched up, because what I've got is, I got a test piece of cherry wood. Did you see us doing this the other day?
Yeah,
that big chunk
saw.
of cherry. So the big chunk of cherry wood that's in the back of my room here, it's a massive job to take it down to a resaw, slice it up, dry it out, glue it on, and we still don't know if it's a good piece of wood. So before we make the investment in going to the next step and chopping it up, which is going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. Lee-san and Aoyama-san and I yesterday, we got a saw, and Lee-san by hand sliced a little piece of that thing out, allow us to look inside.
Yeah.
So, and it looks good and bad. I know there's some nice pink parts, and there is a lot of wide brown that really is not good wood. So, I can't explain too much here. We've sliced from the edge of this piece, so it looks like the edge part here may not be usable, and the inside part may be usable. And there's only one way to find out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an old Hansta that I didn't use some months ago because I printed it in the wrong place here. Paste it on here and just try carving a little bit here and there. This is not for production work. Just I'm got to get my knife into this block and try carving
see how it feels.
and see how it feels and see if it holds fine lines and see if it holds detail or whatever. So I don't know if, and we're almost even running out of time now. So whatever, I can just start this. I can get it pasted down and get a bit of carving. And then maybe tomorrow I'll be doing the same thing. I'll probably be doing this again tomorrow on the stream.
Okay. Let's see if I can catch you up on some of the questions.
Sure, I have no idea what's going on in there.
Yeah.
I think we had our once a day visit. Somebody comes, or some robot comes once a day and puts some stupid link in or something.
Perfect.
And everybody panics and says we need mods, but it only happens once a day. And each time it happens, I ban that particular robot, but it doesn't matter because it's always a different one the next day. So you know. So.
Okay, so someone asked, doesn't he print the text directly on the book cover, like the example he showed at the start? And someone said, no, that's the Fox Moon image. But the title is put on as
a separate label. Yes.
Label, is that correct?
So yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I said, gee, why not print the words? We could have printed the words on there now that I think about it, but I'm just simply following without really thinking about it too much. The traditional way of making books. Okay. And all those books in the old days, they had a separate printed label that went on the front, and the more expensive books had patterns and stuff also printed on the front cover. You know, cheap book just has nothing. Bang, it's a front cover and nothing. But more expensive ones had patterns. But yeah, many ways to do it. You know.
Where do you buy your pigments? Could I just run down to Sekkaido,
so
or do I have to climb a mountain?
That's Nick, right? That's the last known god asking about that. I just started to sort of answer the kind of pigments, the traditional pigments, they're gone now. Eh? I don't know how to answer this. The kind of pigments that I was able to buy when I first came to Japan, they just don't exist anymore because this business collapsed. Nobody's preparing them for printmakers anymore because nobody was buying them. Yeah. So what we get now are generic water-based pigments. Most of them factory-based. Most of them very not high quality at all. Sekkaido has lots of stuff. If you're trying this work, by all means, there's no problem. Matsumura-san, their supplier has a bunch. Sekkaido has a bunch. You can buy generic mineral pigments for water-based printmaking anywhere in Japan. Okay. They're all factory-made, and they're okay.
They do the job.
They do the job. We would like something. We need the colors and tones that were more traditional colors and tones. Right. But those pigments that are available, they do the job.
Okay. Great.
And they're actually, perhaps even some of them, because they're modern chemical-based stuff, and modern artists are demanding light fastness and UV protection and stuff like that. Yeah. Some of those modern pigments, even though we don't like the colors of them, they're probably stronger and more vivid and will last longer than some of the more traditional ones. Okay. So it's really, half and half which way you want to think is more important,
Someone said, I keep hearing those bangs from downstairs. My instinct is to go get the door. Go check who's knocking. But downstairs, I saw them.
I was chatting about on stream. I pretty much explained what's happening. That 3 years ago we were supposed to go down there. That was our deal. Didn't happen because he didn't leave. He is now leaving, and we are, as of next month, going downstairs. We can talk about this now clearly. Masan himself is gone. This is yesterday and today. It's a construction crew. He's not around. So maybe he will back here on the last day to do the handoff or something. I have no idea. Okay. We may have seen the last of him.
Yeah. For the construction, they greeted me. They're like, "Oh, hi."
Yeah, they don't know they don't know for nothing. Just
really friendly. The connection with this wired connection is blessedly buttery smooth.
But you see, we do have drop frames still.
Oh yeah, there are a few. It's 62 overall.
Yeah, which is next to nothing.
Compared to yesterday, this is a great improvement.
Yeah. And I killed Safari in the background. When I saw the drop frames coming, I killed Safari. And actually, it seems to have stopped. But I can't kill Chrome because we're looking at the chat through Chrome.
Using Chrome. Okay.
Okay, I'm certainly not going to carve this whole thing. I'm just going to carve a patch here and a patch there and a patch here just to try and get a feel for how this wood is, My guess is it's going to be barely usable, but nothing special. And usable mostly for color blocks, I think, rather than line work. I don't know. We'll see.
But do you think as you get closer in?
We don't. This is just step one,
Oh, okay.
We've carved a piece, cut a piece here that has inner wood and outer wood, and we'll have a look and see if there's a dramatic difference or not. So.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this location set here, then zoom in a bit more. I know. We're wanting this spot. Shoot. Are we in there? Are we focused or not?
It's blue. Oh, there. A little bit in, did it? Or that is decently focused.
Is it?
Slightly blurry, but...
Did it come out more?
There. That's looking pretty sharp. Okay. How often do you change the hangi to blade? What do you mean? Or maybe you know this expression.
Hangi-to.
Oh, hangi-to blade. Okay.
When it gets too short, and I don't want to open it and take it out now. In fact, I have the next one ready and standby and waiting. The next blade is here on standby. I brought it from Ome. The current one now, where's the inside? Let me see. I don't want to take it out. The current one is down to there. Yeah. So the current one. So here, the current one ends there, right?
Oh,
now.
You're a little bit off.
Sorry. Okay.
A little bit.
Is that the new blade there?
That's a new blade there in the middle.
My current one. Here. Oh. All right, zoom out. Away we go.
Sorry.
No problem. There's the new blade ready to come in. My current one is ending. Where is it? Right there. Ending right there. So I started. With the new blade, will start down inside the handle here at this point. And as we sharpen it, it gets pulled up and pulled up and pulled up and pulled up and pulled up. And the blade that's in there now is pretty much at the end. I'll be able to maybe use 1 more centimeter or so of it before there's not enough left to grip, to hold on. And the blade itself, it's not usable all the way down to the end. It's usable. Here we are. You can see where the guy was holding it with the tongs as he was hammering and hammering. Can you see or not?
Yeah.
See the difference?
Different
So
color.
this part's not usable at all. It's just from about where my finger is up to the end. That's the part that's properly tempered and properly usable. So I get about 5 centimeters worth of blade. And quite traditionally, actually, the best part is just before it dies, just when you're right at the end, just about where I am now. Just quite frequently, it's the best part. And I don't really know why. I mean, I think it's whatever, the guy hammers along and hammers along and hammers along. And we frequently find there's good spots, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
Huh.
And it's hand hammered. So there might be spots that actually sort of didn't get hammered enough or got hammered too much or whatever. I don't know the ins and outs of how the metal crystallization works and things like this, But because it's hand hammered, it's variable. And the better the person is, the more consistent the blade is.
Okay.
And I haven't been at this long enough, like hundreds of years, whatever, how it was 100 years ago, whatever. But and the problem is they're completely consumable, so we don't have blades left from the old days to compare.
Right.
Somewhere, some drawer in the back of some drawer somewhere is a Meiji era blade that didn't get used.
Right.
How are you going to find it?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. And we've mentioned before on these streams, hardware itself, blades and knives and stuff, are really not too much of a problem for us because they're not objects that are made just for woodblock printmakers.
Right.
There's carpenters all over the country. There's shrine builders. There's guys making furniture. People making knives and chisels are ongoing all the time.
Right.
And we just piggyback on that.
Yeah.
The place we get these blades, their main business is making chisels for carpenters. And that's still in no danger of dying. Whatever yet. I don't know. Maybe so, whatever so.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where it was. I'm sorry. Somewhere on there? Sure.
How wide is the blade, would you say? little less
They
than
come
a
in. I'm using
centimeter.
it's 4.5 is the one I use. That's the standard. 4.5 millimeters in width.
Okay.
A lot of people doing sosaku work, creative printmakers, the Westerners using this. They use a 6.
Okay.
It's wider, breaks a little less. Matsumura-san in his catalog, I'm really sort of frustrated by this. He has a full range. He has like 6, 4.5, 3, 2, and 1.
Oh.
And they're unusable. I've never touched a 1 in my life. I have no use for it, even the most delicate hair, nothing. But he puts them in a catalog. And he sells them. People put them in there. They pick it up and they go, push it in the wood and click, and it breaks.
Yeah.
Not just the tip, the whole blade just breaks off the blade. He sends it back. And the reason I know about this is my girlfriend helps him with his English, English letters and stuff.
Yeah.
And just all the time, these blades come back, And he should not be selling those to beginners. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
A blade that breaks the moment you put it into the wood if you don't know what you're doing, This wood is soft. This is not going to be usable for key blocks. Not at all. It's okay. It's clean though. It's soft and clean.
Public broadcast. Make a national radio plea to search the bottoms of their drawers, and they'll find
But if
all
you
the
know what
major...
we've done this before, actually, something like that. What was I talking about? Back when I was making the poet series, I hadn't really met many craftsmen still. I was in trouble finding good tools and stuff. And actually, that same Baron, the Baron we looked at just before you came, I bought one homebot, and it was expensive, like I said, $1,000 or so, whatever it was. And I thought there must be so many of these, because there were thousands and thousands and thousands of printers working back when this business closed up. So one day there was a newspaper guy interviewing me just about the job in general, and I thought I would make a focus about how difficult it was for me to find good tools. I couldn't find brushes, I couldn't find good Barons and stuff like that. And the reporter got kind of enthusiastic about this, and we chatted back and forth. So when they did their story on me, and this was appearing in the Tokyo version of the newspaper, not the national newspaper, the Tokyo newspaper, and based on my suggestions, and he wrote along with me, they titled the story, "Was Your Grandfather a Woodblock Craftsman?" I forget exactly. Ji-chan wa hanga shokunin deshita ka? And then it was an interview with David was the story. But in the middle of it, we talked about this fact that I couldn't get tools and blah, 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 blah. And they agreed to publish it, and it came out. And that morning when the thing came out, I thought, oh my God, my problems are over. 10,000, a million people are going to see this story because it's in a major national newspaper. And out of that, 10,000 people are going to say, maybe. And out of that, 1,000 people are going to do it. And out of that, 100 people are going to actually find something in the drawer. And 10 of those are going to phone me. You know what I mean? Down. And I'm going to be inundated by the end of the week. My tool problems will be over for life, And that newspaper came out that morning, and I just waited by the phone. And I waited, this is going. And there was absolutely not one peep of reaction from anybody.
Wow.
From Tokyo's #1 Yomiuri newspaper that went to Tokyo, to Shitemachi, to everywhere. And not one comment or letter or postcard or phone call or anything.
Wow.
Nothing. So the tools are out there or not, I don't know. And in later time, talking with some of the other craftsmen about this, what happens, he said, what do you expect? I'm like, what do you mean, what do I expect? He says, look, the way it works is this. When a guy dies, the people who've been working with him get his tools. The family doesn't know. They're going to throw them in the garbage. And the other craftsmen know. So within days of the guy dying, and this sounds like something horrible, the vultures gather.
We're here to take your husband's tools.
They're all friends. These guys have known each other all the time, whatever. And if he had specific apprentices or people who had been his apprentices, they get the stuff, with some few exceptions. And when I heard this story the first time, I'm like, what's the word you say? You die inside. The Baron, a printer. This is his #1 thing that lives with him and that works with him. And when they put him in the box for cremation,
that goes too.
In it goes, or at least one of them, in it goes with the guy. He's got his hands folded on his chest there in the box, and
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Sugi-san, good morning. And in goes a real home. Bought it. And I thought, no, make a paper mache one like the Chinese do. Suga-san, be careful. There's a wire on the floor. Let's get it aside. Ciao.
あれそれ掘り直してるんですか？
違う。桜のテストです。テストです。そう。
どんなになるだろうね。
どうになるかわかんない。そう。
楽しみ。
Like you read about it in China, like at New Year's time they burn money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they don't burn money. They make
Money.
fake money and they burn the fake money. So So I'm thinking, look, let's change this tradition. Let's make a picture of a baron and put that in there, and like he's not going to know he's dead. And the guys are just, you can guess the reaction. It's just like what planet were you born on? Whatever. So So after that, whenever I hear about one of these guys dying, like Seki-san, he died a few years ago. I thought, oh my God, there it is. There it's all. Go in smoke.
People are answering your questions for you. Or someone asked, how deep do you carve? And others are saying it depends, or deep enough that the paper doesn't touch the bottom, and the farther away you are from a line, then the deeper you need to go.
In terms of absolute numbers, in our traditional stuff, we're using this cherry, which is like 5 millimeters laminated onto the foot. And I've never yet gone through that.
Wow.
So there's no point in any of my prints where I'm deeper than 5 millimeters. And most of the times nowhere near that. So in terms of an absolute number, but that's our kind of work with our kind of lines and our kind of clearing. There's no, carve it, and if it makes blots, you got to go deeper. Or you need stronger paper, or you don't push down where the blots are, or your paper's too wet. There's so many factors. Experience.
Did you always use a microscope?
No. This is new for me as I get older. Absolutely. As I get older, it's been stage by stage. In the beginning, nothing. Then glasses. Close-up glasses, reading glasses.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, when was it? When I moved to the Ome workshop, I started using that. I've got it here. Maybe you can hold it and show it easier. A desk magnifier. I'm not sure what to say. It clicks on one side of the desk, and don't scare me. I started using that about 15 years ago. And actually, this is what I still use most for the main work.
Okay.
And then, a friend of mine from the Ukraine, a guy, he's living in Tokyo now, he's a jeweler. Okay. He was visiting me one day, and this would be about just before we started the Mokuhankan thing, so 7 years ago. He's watching me carve on. He says, why don't you get a microscope? And I'm like, Slav, it doesn't work like a microscope. When they're looking at, there's no way to put your hand inside to do this. Microscopes have to be close up to the stuff. And he says, well, you know about this? And I'm like, he says, in his jewelry shop, he used to work for Van Cleef & Arpels in New York. Okay. He was a guy making jewelry. Yeah. And he said, no, there are lots of microscopes. They're called stereo microscopes, or stereoscopic or stereo microscopes. Yeah. And they have a system where they're designed for like inspecting printed circuit boards and stuff like that. And there is actually quite a distance, 10 or 15 centimeters, between the lenses and the work. Right. And I'm like, really, is this possible? He said, we eBayed it. This is like, there's nothing on Yahoo Auctions. We looked on eBay. And we found some. And there was one company, this is from Texas. It says, there was a factory closing. What does it say?
It says Meiji on it.
That's not the manufacturer, but then it's on here. NCR, National Cash Register, some factory in Texas was closing down. And they had these things on eBay, so it was like $300 or something. He said, try it, you'll like it. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to work. He says, try it. So I bought it on eBay, had it shipped over, tried it, and oh my God, you can actually do that. Now it's people see me looking at a microscope and think, oh my God, we're looking at bacteria walking around on the surface of the moon and stuff. Like, no. And in fact, actually, when you sit here and look through and out and through and out, it's about double. So it's about a 2x. It does go more, but it's meaningless because if you go more, I can only see 2 millimeters here. You can't carve in
without seeing where you're going.
So without seeing where I'm going. So it's about a 2x. But what it really does for me is it keeps for the camera, for the stream here, it keeps the point focused in one place exactly. Right. So I can stream and people can see where the knife is going in the wood. So, And I use it for, those hairlines now. I did the hair on that octopus print. Absolutely, I use this. It helps me get close. Yeah. But it's not all that much magnified, actually. It's not microscopic levels of magnification. It's more like lens. It's pretty much about the same as that lens I had there. So.
Those teeth, oh my, so tiny. If you make a mistake, how do you correct it? Someone said plug and recarve. So you take out a chunk and put in a new one.
You mean on any block?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done it before.
Yep,
We've
yeah.
done it on the stream.
Looks like we've got some new people joining us today.
It doesn't happen a lot, but yeah, there are mistakes.
Yeah.
There's also mistakes that are not my fault. You'd be carving and there's a hole in the wood that was a little bit hidden because you couldn't see it on top of the wood, So.
Yeah.
This is too soft. It's not going to be good for key blocks,
It's too bad.
I thought when we saw it, I thought it was so dense and hard. I thought so, but no.
Same person asking, can you make a living out of this? Do you teach this to younger persons so you can get someone to take over your work? The first one, can you make a living out of this?
I think this,
yes, you've been doing it for 30 years.
You're making a living for 30 years, and now there's 18 people here. We're not teaching, but we're hiring. Yeah, we're building a business that's going to go on for a long time.
And when people email, and you've got so many other emails, so I've been responding a lot when people ask, do you teach? I like to say that you don't teach one-on-one, but you make your knowledge accessible to anyone who wants it.
Yeah, of course.
Twitch
there's no
streams,
classes here. Yeah, exactly.
There's the Facebook fan page, if someone can throw a link out here, because that's been a great place. We loved seeing everyone starting their own prints. There's YouTube, a lot of YouTube videos he's made with history of woodblock printer making and some about the techniques involved. And then he also has ebooks about it. So if you want to learn, you can learn from Dave, just not one-on-one in
This
person.
came up yesterday, actually. One of the people who's in the shop here, a young guy, he's in a university in Kyoto. He's just passing through. And he said, he'd like to take a class here in the carving. I said, no, we don't have any classes. I'm sorry. We do the printing party. It's more of an experience, just to get a taste of it.
Yeah.
The idea isn't to learn how to be a printer. It's just simply the taste of Japanese culture.
Yeah.
So we don't teach it. We have no school. We have no classes. He said, you have a real responsibility to do so. He said, you have such a knowledge about this. You should be teaching. You should be running classes.
Yeah.
Like, he was not angry at me, but his viewpoint.
Adamant
you have a
about it.
responsibility to do this, But he doesn't know about our work or what we're doing.
Yeah.
How much information and stuff we have actually put out there.
Right.
And I am not going to run classes. I'm not going to okay, here are class, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3.
Yeah.
If you had asked me 25 or so years ago, and I actually was almost starting to do this, people would write letters, people who were living in Tokyo, pre-internet era, say, I'd like to learn more about this, can I come, will you teach me about this? I always said yes. And I had this experience, people would come and I would sit there and sort of actually teach them stuff. Here's how you hold a knife, here's how you do this, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then they wandered away and nothing ever happened. And I realized I'm totally wasting my time on trying to introduce this to beginners who don't know anything about it. It's a pointless waste of time. So I've learned now that we make our workshop open upstairs to people who have already made a bunch of prints, who are well on the way towards this, and who can benefit from coming to a world-class workshop like ours.
Right.
It's not my job to do step 1 teaching. I was talking to you about this a while ago, the joke we have, we get these Tiger Woods letters.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say this, it makes me sound like a real pretentious asshole. When we get the letters saying, Mr. Watt, I'd like to do woodblock printmaking, how do I start? And they haven't looked at the website, they haven't done any research, they've done nothing at all. And they write to Dave Bull saying, what should I do to get started?
Yeah.
And in my pretentious mind, we call them the Tiger Woods letters.
Yeah.
Like somebody wants to learn to do golf. So what does he do? He looks up the internet, writes a letter to Mr. Tiger Woods, Well, how do I hold the club, And that's not where you start.
How do I get started?
Not to be too pretentious, but that's not where you start. Yeah. There's information out there. Get going, get started. And by the time you've worked at it that I can help you, I'll be willing to talk to you.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods letters. So all these people on stream now who have written to me emails thinking, will you show me something? They're all thinking, Dave's.
No, I hope not. Let's see.
My conscience is clear. There's nobody who has put more information out there than we have.
And you keep doing more new videos, more streaming almost every day. You're always providing a source of information out to people. So. Dave, I guess you're going to have to take down that cherry tree in the park if you're looking for, for new wood.
Well, I don't think that helps me. For one thing, the cherry trees in the park are Yoshino sakura. They're
Different wood.
substantially designed. They're not designed. They're bred and selected and hybridized for cherry blossoms.
For pretty flowers, not for hardwood.
Exactly. And the genus that we use is the one called Yamazakura. I forget the Latin name, but it's a Japanese mountain cherry. And really, there's a big, big difference. It's not just a finicky name difference. The Yamazakura is a tighter, denser grain, and it's to do with the what do you call it? The pipes that bring the liquid from the roots up to the branches.
Yeah.
It turns out in the Yamazakura, these are much smaller, smaller and denser. So that when you've got a finished plate like this, I can't see enough because the hunches on it, but there's little lines in the wood, and that's where those pipes, that went from the root up the top of the tree.
Right.
And in a normal cherry, Yoshinozakura, those are fat pipes, and those lines show in the color.
Okay.
But the Yamazakura is a denser wood, and they don't show. This is not my discovery. This is people years ago.
Yeah.
Shows the material that was best for it. So yeah, the cherry trees in the parks around my house and around your house are safe. Don't no guerrilla work here, please. Cutting down trees. But.
Suddenly we hear Ueno Park is missing all its cherry trees.
Well, actually, they're in trouble for a different reason. That whole big avenue of trees in Ueno Park, they're end of life. And the whole avenue is end of life together. And this is a real problem now.
Because they're all planted about the same time.
They were planted about the same time. This was a wonderful idea at the time. Well, maybe it wasn't a wonderful idea. And they're all coming to end of life together.
Oh, no.
And this is not just, this is a real problem because as they get older, they get dangerous. They get rotten, and they're already cutting branches.
Yeah.
But lots of them now, clearly the trees themselves have to come down. And there's a huge, all the community groups say, no, don't cut my cherry trees, don't cut the trees. And the city hall has to think about, well, when it's going to fall on your head and kill you.
Yeah, we've got to cut the trees.
So we've got to cut the trees. And to me, it's sort of simple. Like right now, today, go and take out 1/3 of them.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt, but there's still going to be 2/3 left. And get something planted right now. And then punt a little while. How much longer can you wait? Cull out the worst ones, the ones that are in danger of dying and falling over. But get started. But I think the community activists have been so strong that every time City Hall tries to get out there, people form rings around the trees so the chainsaws can't come in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a real problem developing. And I know what's going to happen. Somebody or some family or some party of Hanami people are going to die because some big branch has fallen on them, and then that's it. The next morning, the whole
forest is gone.
The whole thing will be gone. So that's I bet you that's where it's going to end up. And then for a generation, a literal generation, there will be nothing there.
Are you in charge of the print party today?
Teiko-san's coming. She's supposed to be here.
She sent a message just a little bit ago. Her train has been heavily delayed. She was supposed to be in Ikebukuro.
In that case then, sir, we have to shut this party. We have to shut the stream down because I'm a party host at 10 o'clock and nothing is prepared.
Okay, let's get going. Do it. Okay.
Sign up friendly.
Okay.
What time is it? It's 9:30, right? Or something? Or
40.
9:40! Oh! What am I doing chatting with these people?
But it's been fun.
No.
Okay, that's going. We will...
I'm out of here. You sign off. You sign off. I'm gone.
He's gonna get ready. We will see you later. See you tomorrow? Tomorrow. Well, I probably won't be here, but... Let's see. We'll see you in a little bit. Why did you ask Dave? I wanted to make sure we didn't get in trouble. Okay. Have a great night, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is. We will see you next time. Bye.